Well, from the chat, Dana Hodkin, Howard Bloom did apologize on another channel. But, Dana, I find like an apology when you're using what you're writing to make big money. I find it empty that you apologize after the fact, after the money's in the bank, that you're now going to apologize on the very thing that may have made your story popular to begin with.
How about
journalistic integrity? Isn't there supposed to be journalistic integrity?
And this is defaming to Professor Catherine Ramsland. I mean, to link her with a serial killer, having conversation before and after a quadruple homicide, I think that's terrible. So he basically did, 180 and backpedaled, but you're really tinkering on defamation there. And I would love to have her on too, Professor Ramsland. That would be great to have her on. She seems like she's very knowledgeable when it comes to serial killers. So that would be an interesting show. And I think it was Schmitty in the comments said that Bloom reminds her of Johnny Ray from the Google Beach case, which we did have on. We had quite an exchange with him. We had a heated exchange, and he really is committed to saying that that his client was involved in the Gilgo Beach murders, and we had a different opinion that she's not. His client wasn't part of the people that were killed by Rex Heuermann. But I think there's a great comparison there, Schmitty. That was quite a good analogy.
As I said before, I think Howard Bloom's an outstanding writer, but I think that when you write a story like this that has so much emotion in a community in Moscow, Idaho, and now the case is being held in Boise, a quadruple murder of young students, I think you got to sort of be on top of what's true and what's fiction. And then when you get caught with something fiction, say, oh, it was just a hypothesis. Nah, I'm not buying that. Mike?
Yeah, Bill, he should have made it really clear that he had no connections, that this was just came forth just from his head and nothing from nowhere else. That would have been better, but he didn't do it. Maybe he's caught up in, wanting so badly to be a little bit ahead of everybody else so that his articles and airmail will be like cutting edge. But sadly, he didn't do it. So, unfortunately, as Phil says, that is really defaming in ways, Dr. Ramlin, and that's not right. You should not do that.
If I can read a little bit more from his article, yet what the prosecution discovered, which has not been previously reported, is that Kohberger's relationship and tutelage with Ramsland did not end when he traveled across the country to enroll in the PhD criminal justice program at Washington State University. He remained her acolyte. Kohberger was allegedly emailing his old professor in the days before the murders occurred and in the days immediately after. I believe Ramsland has strenuously denied that. Right. What was discussed remains for now at least another mystery. Neither the state nor Ramsland has responded to requests for comment. Nevertheless, the airmail has learned that just hours after Kohberger's arrest, Ramsland allegedly telephoned his mother to offer her wisdom and guidance to help a former student and his family through the looming ordeal, or offer to act as the cool-headed broker for the Kohbergers was quickly accepted. The Kohbergers supposedly refused to meet with their son's court-appointed Pennsylvania attorney until Ramsland signed off. Over the 2 years that followed, the professor allegedly stayed in touch with the family as well as with Kohberger himself, offering sources share practical advice to help navigate the often overwhelming intricacies of a stern criminal justice apparatus. She's even reportedly conferred with one of Kohberger's sisters, who is said to be writing an insider's account of their ranching family drama. In fact, the beleaguered family has asked her to consider accompanying them to the Boise bed and breakfast that Antela, that have their son's defense team, has reserved for them during the course of the trial.
Law enforcement can establish that very easily with a search warrant or a subpoena, Bill, if there's emails going back and forth. And the more you read, the more it sounds like a defamation lawsuit to me. I mean, I hope that Dr. Ramsland is listening, and maybe she might want to consider that. It's really defaming to hear those things that he's alleging. So, and it's, especially if they're not true. I mean, you could clearly find out if there was emails back and forth. So,
Well, but Ramsland denies it. She totally denies
she
it.
publicly denies it, but I think there's a way to find out. All you'd have to do is look and see if there are emails going back and forth, and that would be the basis for the lawsuit, if there is one.
But the prosecution has no interest in that. This would have to be a civil.
No, I'm talking about if you went into a civil lawsuit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you went into a civil lawsuit, you can say, look, here's my email list. There's no emails going back and forth, and he's making these allegations. How is he corroborating this? Where did he come up with these facts? And I think it's quite defaming. I mean, you would have to show that there was some type of, maybe somebody threatened her, or there's probably a little more that has to be done with regard to a defamation lawsuit. More has to be established is the right word, I guess. But just being linked to Brian Kohlberger, who we really believe killed 4 innocent college students, that in and of itself is defaming in my book.
Absolutely. Well, we've been on for an hour and 21 minutes. Mike, your final thoughts?
Bill, I think people should have a lot of confidence in law enforcement in Idaho, and probably Mr. Steve Gonsalves has been told a lot of information ahead of time, so that he's very, very confident himself. So therefore, we should all have confidence that Brian Kohlberger will be brought to trial, and he'll be given whatever justice he deserves.
Absolutely. Phil, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, Bill, every time we do a show with regard to this Kohlberger case, I would just ask you to please put up the pictures of those 4 young college students. And I just want to acknowledge Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Zainer Knodel, and Ethan Chapin. God bless their souls. God bless their families. Look at the faces of those beautiful, beautiful young kids that were horribly slaughtered. I want justice for them, and I know that's not going to be closure. We talked about that, but let's hope and pray that everything goes well at the trial and these families get the just and deserved outcome, and let these people rest in peace.
100%. Folks, I want to thank everyone. I see a lot of new names in the chat tonight. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share us with your friends and your family.
Give us the thumbs up.
We're police off the cuff. All of us are NYPD veterans. Phil, a retired detective, myself, Mike, and myself, retired sergeants. So we know a little bit about what we're talking about, I think. And I'm glad everyone tuned in. I want everyone to have a great night, and keep following Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. We'll see you the next time. Have a great night, and God bless.
Stay safe, everyone.
One episode just ain't enough.